I'm PK, and I'm talking today with Dr. Josh Biberdorf, and he's from Rapid City, South Dakota. And Dr. Josh, let's talk a little bit about how many years, first of all, have you been in practice?
I've been in practice about 16 years now.
And when you look back, hindsight is always 20/20. We always say that. When you started, if you would know then what you know now, what would you do differently in light of the benefits that SIDECAR has afforded you?
I think having SIDECAR on our team just gives us a lot more security with doing our insurance billing process. So it allows us to really free up our energies in our office to focus on different things. But over the course of those 16 years, inevitably we've been through several different insurance personnel in our office. And with chiropractic being a kind of a unique animal, having somebody that's had medical billing per se doesn't really extrapolate to chiropractic billing. So it seems like over the course of those 16 years, anytime we'd have to hire a new insurance person, we couldn't go out and just hire somebody that had, medical billing experience. Essentially, each person that you'd bring into your office, you'd have to train from the ground up. So it took a lot of energy, time, and focus from our practice to do that process.
Kind of reinventing the wheel over and over again, huh?
Exactly, yep.
How about cash flow? Because I would think that, especially when you're first starting, that pressure of cash flow and having to have your fingers in the pie all the time can get to really be emotionally and physically even draining for you. How has SIDECAR helped that?
I think having somebody that's got a real system in place to looking at how your income, your revenue is generated on a consistent basis. Practice past would be, look at the end of the month and have an out-of-money experience and then say, oh, geez, something must be wrong with our clearinghouse or something must be wrong with our insurance billing process. So it would be much more retroactive when we found out that, we had a really bad month in collections. Maybe there's something wrong with insurance billing. Where now with SIDECAR in place, they're looking ahead of the process and knowing as soon as they get something back that's not right, they're on it right away to get that problem resolved for us.
And do you ever wonder along the way, too, if cash flow seems to be kind of interrupted or doesn't seem to be flowing as well as you'd like it? I would think that some docs would even say, okay, we need to change what we're doing because it's not working. The cash flow isn't coming in. Do you think that even directly affects your practice that way as far as the technical parts of what you do?
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime we have an interruption in our cash flow, whether you're up against it not being able to pay your bills or not having the affluence that you need, it's going to take our mental RAM away from our business, and we're going to have to switch gears and plow into our insurance billing side of things and really work on that. Where right now with SIDECAR, we have the ability to essentially, let them take care of that process for us. Obviously, still keep our eyes in the process to make sure everything's going good with our checks and balances on our end, but it really frees our energies up on the clinical, technical level to focus on what we want to focus on.
I love what you said just a couple of minutes ago, too. You were talking about SIDECAR, making SIDECAR part of your team. So when you do that, Dr. Josh, does it make it more fun? Does it put that whole heart right back into the practice? How does SIDECAR affect that?
Yeah, I think it does. The biggest thing for myself personally, insurance billing, HCFA forms, claim forms, ICD 9 or 10 or 11 or wherever we're at, all those words I think to the average practitioner are pretty scary words, and there's nothing about the whole insurance billing system that motivates the technical component of the chiropractor to really get excited about that aspect of their practice. Our focus, and most of us came into the profession to be healers and work with patients and serve, and all that back-end stuff just really doesn't allow us to do that.
So with 16 years of experience, do you have any wisdom that you would pass on to somebody listening right now who's maybe just beginning, and maybe how they could invest in SIDECAR and how that would help them too?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things any of us can do, whether it's chiropractic or anything, is the first thing we should invest in is to invest in our business. So I essentially look at SIDECAR as having another employee. That employee's off-site. They take care of all of our back-end stuff, and it just really frees the practitioner up to move forward, build their business, focus on all the things that we like to do in life as opposed to focusing on the didactic stuff of actually submitting a claim and billing a claim. And if we just think of it as SIDECAR being an employee of ours, that line item for expense really is a wash. And in the big scheme of life, by partnering with somebody who has a wealth of knowledge in the business of it, it's a highly trained, highly skilled, highly competent employee that we don't have to worry about. So it makes it much easier to practice.
Well, thank you so much for your time today, Dr. Josh. It's been great talking to you, and I just thank you again for sharing how SIDECAR has impacted your practice. I've been talking with Dr. Josh Biberdorf from Rapid City, South Dakota.